He has worked in school districts in Iowa, Illinois, and now Indiana. Prior to Lafayette, he was the superintendent of the Jacksonville School District in Jacksonville, Illinois. Mr. Huddle and his wife have 3 children: Andrew, who's a farmer; Thomas, who's a doctor in pharmacy and living in Seattle; and his daughter Kelly is an event planner for Hilton Hotels.
Wow.
His home state is in Iowa. Mr. Huddle has attended Monmouth College in Monmouth, Illinois,
Yep.
Western Illinois University in Macomb, Illinois, and the University of Illinois in Champaign for his degrees. He started his public education career by hiring as a 5th grade teacher in the same building where he did his student teaching. And it gives me great pleasure and honor to introduce to you Superintendent Les Huddle.
Hey, hey. I'm going to stand up here and hope that the mic holds up. If it doesn't, I'm just going to yell. Okay? Now, I'm going to talk to you about the Greater Lafayette Career Academy. I'm going to give you some quick history, then we're going to show you a floor plan, which you can't see. It'll be up there. It is color-coded, but Ted is passing out some floor plans, and there's approximately 25 of them, so hopefully you can share and kind of see what's going on. The Greater Lafayette Career Academy started approximately 990 days ago. And that was in December of 2016 when the Lafayette School Corporation purchased what is now the old Lafayette Life building. Anybody remember that building? Yes. How many have been in it? Few of you have been in it. Because I want you to come back and look at it. I would tell you, if I blindfolded you, put you in that building today, you would have no idea where you were. But it's an interesting story. That building, as many of you know, sat empty for approximately 8-9 years. Now, when I say empty, that's a relative term. Because when we bought it in December, the LSC board bought it in December of 2016, if you walked in there, all, and I mean all, the furniture was still there. All the executive desks, the bookcases, their law books, some files that we probably shouldn't have found were left there, being a life insurance company. Their weight room still had all the weights. Their printing shop still had reams and reams of paper. There were old golf trophies from some of their executives. There were nameplates from secretaries left on desk. It's like they locked the door on Friday and said, don't come back. Now, Western and Southern, where Lafayette Life relocated to in Cincinnati, Ohio, was the company that we actually had to negotiate a purchase price for that building. And I have to tell you, there's some former Lafayette Life employees that are still in our community that assisted and basically took our side and said, listen to their first offer and take it. Our first offer was $0, give it to us. They didn't pay attention to that. So we were about $8 million apart from their price to what we first offered. We settled way below that and got a really good financial deal. And just before this, I was having dinner with Dr. Killian from West Lafayette and Dr. Hambach from TSC, and we were at Scotty's. And I said, hey, I think Lafayette School Corporation is going to buy the Lafayette Life building. What do you two guys think about starting a career academy? Rocky goes, I'm in. Scott says, okay. And we went back to eating. So that was a quick buy-in. So from day one, you'll see the logos up the top there, West Lafayette, TSC, and LSC. We are all three partners in this career academy. Okay? That building that you see, let me give you, in case you're going to show you where it sits. This is Jeff High, Tecumseh, Teal Road, and then the Lafayette Life. The Lafayette Life building sits on 10 acres.
Wow.
Yeah, we were surprised too. I would tell you this, for the first couple years I drove by it, I didn't know it was a two-story building. It has an upper and has a lower level. That building that you see is approximately 100,000 square feet. It has over 300 parking spots in that, so there's plenty of room. And I don't think anyone in here looks older than I am, but some of you may have been around this area. Does anyone know what used to sit on that property? Farmland at one point. That this is the site of the original Lafayette Airport. You heard the name Shambaugh? Yeah, he was the race car driver, and he started that. He closed that Lafayette airport when Purdue opened theirs. So, and I've been able to track some of the old newspaper articles just to kind of verify that. And if you look, there is a shelter where the employees used to come out and eat lunch. It actually has a sign that says Shambaugh Shelter on it. So somebody knew the history. And I'm going to talk about aviation in a couple of minutes. Now, as we started, we tried to get a concept. So when this whole thing was designed, administrators, counselors from all three school corporations were involved in the design of this. We also sat with the chamber, because the chamber was our go-to organization for all the manufacturers. Because if you pick a street in our county, and if there's more than 3 businesses, what sign are you going to see in probably 2 of the 3? Help wanted. Help wanted. So we know there's a need for this type of facility. So when we put this together, and again to give you your bearings, off Teal Road, 18th Street, this was the front of the building. This was the back where the dumpster sat. And what we have done is turn the building around in concept, not literally. It costs too much money. But we have turned it around. So we're going to go to the first handout on the top there that you have. It takes a couple of seconds. There we go. Now again, this is too small for you to see. That's why you have the handouts. This is the floor plan of the lower level, meaning the basement. So your handout has upper floor. We go back one. All right, here we go. This is the main floor that you'd walk in. Remember, we turned from here to here is now the main entrance, and the kids would come in this building. The way this works, that when students come over there for their class, this is basically capstone classes, which means juniors and seniors, such as you're going to see culinary arts. We don't give freshmen knives. Okay, we kind of wait till they're a little older and understand. So you juniors and seniors. So if a student from West Side, McCutcheon, Harrison, Jeff, or Oakland High School come here, they will come to this building, spend their morning, be bused back to their high school for math, science, English, social studies, or core courses in the afternoon. Now, while they're being bused, we pick up another load who have been at their high school in the morning for their core courses, and then they come over here for the afternoon. So we load it in the morning, empty it, reload it later in the day. This is phase 1 that I'm talking about. You'll also, part of the whole picture here is an evening shift. Once the high school kids get done, we are working with our manufacturers that Subaru, you name somebody that might need to train some of their employees, this building will be available from what we're going to call the evening shift. Ivy Tech, Vincennes University are all involved with the kids here. So let me walk you around. If the student or you come in the front door, you're going to come into the administrative suite. This school is like any other school. It is locked down, it is secure. You have to go through locked doors. And once you get on the property, you're on camera for safety and security reasons. Then the programs, we actually have half this building completed. So this part right here is finished, both upper and lower level. This part, and we'll talk about it, is phase 2. And I'll talk about a timeline for that. So when kids come over here, these two buildings are large group instruction rooms. That's what the LGI stands for. This room is a tiered lecture hall that you can put about 90 students in, or adults. This one, depending upon your seating, can seat up to 400. But now as you walk your way around the programs, healthcare has 2 classrooms, and then as the guys and gals come into healthcare, they also have a lab, and that's kind of the concept. Each pathway has classrooms, usually, and then a lab. This lab, the little square rectangles here, those are hospital beds. And if you walk in the building in about a month, because the beds aren't in yet, it will look like a hospital ward, complete with the curtains, complete with fake oxygen outlets that the kids will have to practice on, high-tech, I don't know what to call it in healthcare, dummies, where the kids will practice on, and they are high-tech that you can buy for these classes now. The problem with our healthcare is the state limits the number of students that want to take this course. You can have only so many students for an instructor. So we kind of have a waiting list. But these students can walk out. I think they're going to walk out with their CNN. So that, I mean, almost every one of these programs has an advanced certificate or degree that the kids can walk out. Okay, as we move around, there's a education profession classroom. Very selfish. That's pre-teaching. That's for us in the education field. We need teachers just as Subaru needs workers. So we are doing our pre-teaching here. And this, where it says future program, we are tentatively planning on that to become childcare. Now, think about that. You have little kids and our pre-teaching right next door. So you have that partnership concept there. Then as you move around towards the middle, here it says PLTW. That's Project Lead the Way, or pre-engineering. And of course you have, you know, we have kids from all the high schools coming to take this engineering courses. And then as you move around, you have a makerspace. A makerspace is becoming very trendy and popular in schools. It's basically a high school age toy room. Think of it that way. When the kids come here, there will be 3D printers, tools, power tools, those types of things where kids can get together and work on partnerships. As an example, when I get to like automotive tech, one of our courses I'm going to talk about, their project for the year, they have to build a car. It runs. So they have to start with the design. That particular student may not have the CAD drawing, the engineering background. So he might or she might come over here, say, hey, you know, my friend, my buddy, I'll meet you in the makerspace, help me design the car. So they're working together in there. Let's move to the next level. I want to show you what's complete. When you go to, and this space, if you were in there before, it is now a brand new stairwell with a massive skylight that lets light in. It just lights up the whole building. You'll also see the colors that have been selected. There's a lot of black and white and grays with one accent color. See if I have my tag on. It's teal. 2 reasons. Let's figure out one of them. It's on Teal Road. The other one is McCutcheon, Harrison, Jeff, West Side, and Oakland don't have teal in them. We wanted this to be the kids' site, not black and red, red and gray, any other color. So it's teal color when you go in there. Now in the basement, if you go down here, start over here, criminal justice. This is their classroom, and next door is their lab. We have an or former, that's probably a better term, former sheriff that is the instructor. He teaches the class, and then when the kids go in the lab, the instructor has set up a crime scene. And the kids have to use what they're taught in the class to try to solve the crime. Okay? We have some high-tech machines in there to the point where the Lafayette Police Department has contacted us and said, can you train our officers on the use of these machines? And some of those are fingerprinting. And I had my Boy Scout merit badge fingerprinting. I had to go to the courthouse. They put my thumb on an 8-pad and then rolled it on a piece of paper and I was done. Hope they didn't keep it though. But they're using high-tech machines now to do all that. So that's what you'll see in criminal justice. When you walk to the purple area, the IT lab, that is a technology area, computers. Kids will earn certificates on software design and certificates on the fix-it and repair part of computers. When you move to this area, this is culinary arts. You have a classroom, 2 classrooms, and the lab. The lab it's maybe half the size of this room. The instructor can sit at the front. He because it's Chad, has his stove, refrigerator, cooktop, everything, and a camera up here that Chad controls by remote control. It can show the entire cooktop, or he can have it zoom in on one pot or skillet. And then there are TV monitors all the way around because the kids are all standing in their chef jacket with their own cooktop, their own little refrigerator, and watching that and trying to do the same thing. Okay? Now, this, if you're ever in the building, they had an actual restaurant in here, I think, to feed their employees. The kitchen is still there, totally revamped. Has all new industrial size equipment, complete with walk-in coolers, walk-in freezers, and the kids will be in here under an instructor's care, and there will be a public restaurant right here for this group. Maybe to book one of your meetings in there, and the kids would have your meal prepared for you. May not get all the choices you had today. That restaurant we plan on opening in October. Because again, think with the knives and the freshmen, you got to get the kids to learn how to cook a hot dog before you can serve it. So, but that's going to be, I think, a pretty neat place. Okay, now we're going to go backwards. So put your back on the first page. This is all phase one. So we want the main level, it says down in the lower corner. I'm going to walk through some of these other places that are in phase two, which is in the design stage of construction right now. We have a very aggressive plan to open phase two in the fall of 2021. So kind of 2 calendar years from now. But what you're going to see here, this is the original building. We're going to bump out towards Teal. And what you'll see is construction trades, which is here. That's kind of like when I was in high school, where did the boys go? Shop. Where did the girls go? Home ec. I tell you, my high school, I had no clue what was in the home ec room. Because like the first week, the girls always made curtains and put it over the window and the door. I didn't know what they did the rest of the year in there. And on shop, I used to draw the 3D letters, did those things. But this is construction. The kids will build, do electric, do plumbing, make small houses, work potentially with Habitat with Humanity, go to job sites. Just about everything you can think of in the construction world. But this will be a classroom. Then this is a 2-story. Remember, the building's 2-story. We're bumping it out. This will be their lab. So their classroom overlooks the lab. And we will maintain the high ceilings that we will have in there and give it the industrial look. So the kids get, this is what's in the real world, guys. Next to it is an agriculture classroom. We will have the agriculture lab. These may be toyed with a little bit to move around some of the space. Agriculture classroom, agriculture lab. If you go to Jeff Hinehow, and we have over 2,000 students there today, you cannot take any courses in agriculture. We don't have them. Harrison McCutcheon do. So when we bring those capstone courses over there, it opens another opportunity for Jeff kids. Culinary arts. I just showed that a minute ago. West Lafayette, I think this year now has Culinary Arts 101. But previous, they had no opportunity. And I'll give you an example. Culinary arts, you learn to cook, yeah. 2 years ago, Jeff High School had 17 students go through our culinary arts program, and when those kids were seniors together, they earned over $700,000 worth of college scholarships for themselves to go on. Some of them actually went to Purdue. Others to the big culinary institutes around the country. I know one right now is a pastry chef at the Bellagio on the Strip in Las Vegas. Not a bad gig. You like to bake, I guess. Okay, agriculture. The next one is manufacturing. That's what our community, I won't say our community. This is what our business world is telling us, meaning our local business people. The Subarus, the CATs, SIA, they're saying we need manufacturers. So 2 classrooms overlooking their lab. A lot of metal work, training and continuous improvement models, all those things. Then at the end, will be auto tech service. And then this is, you'll see this later, this is an 8-bay garage for kids to change the oil, fix the cars, do those types of things. And I would tell you that Jeff Hyde does a pretty good job with that. We have a high mileage class in our auto tech pathway. The high mileage class races cars, not only go-karts, but they build a car, they have to take it to Indy, and they're judged on not how fast, but how many miles a gallon during your race. So when they have to build this themselves. So last year during the state championship down in Indy, Jeff Hyde took 3 cars. Fortunate enough, I went to Minneapolis, St. Paul to see an aviation high school. And the kids there were being hired on the weekends by real estate agents, police departments, and guess why? To fly their drones, because the kids can do it. So they're high school kids in their aviation pathway were getting these high-paying jobs, even on weekends while they were still in school. So we are in conversation with Purdue to turn one of these spaces into an aviation pathway. And I will tell you, when I was in the classroom in this Minneapolis St. Paul school, the kids came in the room. They were on $100,000 flight simulators. They're not cartoonish. They were the real picture. And the kids' assignment that day was to take off from this airport in San Francisco, fly their plane out 20 miles into the ocean, land on an aircraft carrier, take back off, find their way back to San Francisco, and land at that same airport. Now, they let myself and one of the assistant superintendents from TSC get on the simulators, and we didn't pay attention because we were challenging each other. Said, "You think we can really fly underneath the Golden Gate Bridge without crashing?" We couldn't and didn't, but we tried. Let's go to the next.
Probably,
Wrap up.
yeah, so you'll have a minute.
Okay. All right, what you're seeing on the lower in this phase 2 is basically those 2-story labs and those types of things. Now, I know there's probably a lot of questions, and I'll be glad to open this up now and still try to keep everybody on track. So let's open it up to questions. Comments or concerns? I'll repeat, it's exciting. You got to be there with the kids. I would tell you, I was in the criminal justice lab or classroom 2 weeks ago on Thursday. The West Lafayette kids were trash talking the Jeff kids. The Jeff kids were trash talking the West Lafayette kids before the football game, and then they went back to work together on a project.
How many kids do you have?
This year we have approximately 170. Okay, that's about what we felt we could handle year one. The other thing, remember, these are junior and senior classes. So when these kids were freshmen and sophomores, this didn't exist. So in their high school pathway, it wasn't there for them to kind of target their courses to go through. Yes, sir.
All I can say is, well done.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. We had an open house about a week ago. There were two kinds of people. One, there was a lot from the community. The others were ex-Lafayette Life employees trying to figure out where their desk was. No, sir.
How's it funded?
I looked for my.
How's it funded? It's funded same way our public schools are funded. Here, next Friday, we will turn in the Lafayette School Corporation, as the others do, and say, we have 7,881 kids. State will say, prove it, so we do. And then they write us a check monthly for so many dollars per kid. Now, when Billy from Jeff High leaves Jeff High and goes to the Career Academy, his dollars will go over there to help fund the teachers and the programs there. We also are under something called the Perkins Funds, which come from the federal government to run career and tech education. Yes, sir.
You get support also from some of the businesses that are looking for employees?
We are getting some support. We're kind of in that process with phase 2 to ask them for more support, if you will. The Makerspace, Arconic gave us $40,000 for that. All the computers you see in the engineering, Duke Energy gave us funds for those. It's kind of official but unofficial because we haven't announced it to the public yet, but I'll let you in on this. DeFow is donating a $30,000 box truck to the auto mechanics to haul parts and their go-karts and their other cars around. So those things are starting to pop up. And as I do with every presentation, we have one big wall outside that doesn't have anybody's name on it. You get my hint. Yes. Let me go up here.
Who's in charge of the administration?
The administration is actually 3 superintendents or our designee form a governing board. Okay, and then we have a person, actually 2 people on site that kind of like a principal, if you will, run the day-to-day operation of the building. Yes?
Do you have more demand than you have room for students?
Yes, we do, and particularly in the healthcare and some of the areas. Believe it or not, the auto mechanic stuff, very popular.
Will this be completed by the fall of 2021?
The question was, will this be completed by the fall of 2021? Phase 2 is our target. Phase 1 opened a month ago. So kids are in there today. I should mention too, in the culinary arts, there's a big window there because we also added a bakery so the public can watch the kids bake.
Okay, one more question.
Yes, sir.
You mentioned Purdue in the context of aviation. Is there a broader context of Purdue involvement?
The answer to that is yes. I think Purdue is trying to figure out, we're trying to figure it out also, how we can partner for the benefit, not only for all the high school age kids, but how can it benefit Purdue also in either their undergrad or grad courses.
Okay, one more.
What's the mix of boys and girls or men and women or whatever that participate in this?
The question was mix of boys and girls. Believe it or not, it's about 50-50. I will give you, not to be mean, but I will give you something that may do away with some public perception. When you take the number of kids from the high schools enrolled and make a percentage out of the total enrollment, the second highest enrollment on that percentage is West Lafayette High School. We know some of our public will think, this isn't for some kids. Yes, it is. You're going to see construction management, shop, all the way to the engineering and healthcare.
Thank you.
I want to thank you.